3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome to another session of Fragments Silicon's reviews. This week we've got three. As I noted, I think last week we're officially in like the busy season. Maybe not the peak busy season, like that's usually November, but you know there are a lot of games coming out from all sectors. It's it's time when people release games because holiday season, and there's 100,000 games competing for your attention. Like, and as such, there are probably going to be weeks where we cover more than our usual two. Either due to obligation, like this week, there's really nothing I could have pushed out further because of obligations. Like, and it's also, size and length and all that stuff is a determinant as well. It also works in the other direction. More on that when we eventually get the game I'm thinking about. But this week we start things off with the game we did an interview about on Wednesday with Manga Gamer, Space Live: Advent of the Net Idols. Like, if you want to learn more about the game itself, you can just go into our archives, on Twitch, YouTube, whatever, and go listen to that. But if you missed said interview, very briefly, this visual novel is about idols. And that word usually has a very specific connotation with anime and anime culture and all that stuff. For the purposes of shorthand, it usually means singer. Although in this game, it's actually a bit broader than you usually get the portrayals.
Well, they do more than singing, but the point is that they're a heavily marketed personality.
Right. It's like you usually get this kind of thing in like the dedicated idols shows. Your Idol Masters, your Love Lives, and so on and so forth. That's kind of where this game is, sort of. I say that because it's also in the future. Because another thing that anime and its various connectors like to do is anthropomorphize anything and everything into cute girls. And that is the case here. If you've played the Neptunia series, you've seen this. But instead of video game consoles, we have web browsers. And indeed, we've had that happen in real life. Like, we have had, what was it, Internet Explorer, I think, Edge.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, Microsoft actually paid money to have a cute girl version of that thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was for their OS, but yeah.
They did one for Windows 10. They did one for IE. I don't know if they actually did one for Edge, but I do remember one for 10 or 8 or one of those.
Yeah. So the point is, it's not that far-fetched, except these are like the actual personifications of their land, as it were, their area of space. I'll be honest, I wasn't exactly sure what the backstory here was because, spoiler alert, it doesn't really matter.
They throw some stuff in at the beginning about how over time humanity migrated to living completely online or something.
Yeah, like I said, it's pointless backstory. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it exists because it needs to exist, but outside of that, you're not gonna pay any attention to it. And like this is a definite low stakes affair. Like, there's no fate of the universe. Hell, there doesn't even seem to be like a cash prize uh, going on here. It just seems like competition for the sake of competition.
Oh yeah, it's to prove which one is the best until the next contest.
Right. It kind of feeds like into the, it's basically a marketing tool.
Yeah, I don't think they even like rule in any kind of important statutory way. It's just like, we're all agreeing that until the next time we do this idol is the best.
This is best girl. Till next time.
That's basically how it's portrayed, and there are 5 of them. Each representing 4 of them are representing browsers we would know. I'm trying to remember the 5th girl, the green clad girl was some Japanese browser.
I think it was like Lunascape is what it's based off of.
Yeah,
Lunascape. Yeah, Lunascape.
But other than that, it's what Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer, and Safari.
Yeah, I mean, you've got your main, like the main character, or at least the character you see the most of is I, AIE, IE.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah, I was about to say, get it?
And she's from macro space. Yeah, we're not exactly working with the highest level of cloaking technology.
If you nudged any harder, that'd be classified as assault, friend.
I mean, we got the previous year's champion, G Chrome. She's from Goggle Space. Seriously.
Hello?
Yeah, I was about to just ask that, so I didn't drop. Good to know. I think it's Adam having connection issues.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Ah, yes.
I can now. You dropped for a bit, though.
Yeah, that was odd. Did I drop out mid-sentence?
You dropped out right after you mentioned the G Chrome from Goggle Space.
Right. You got the only one that they made sort of an effort. Higitsune from Mosaic Space. Like, until you see her design.
Higitsune is Japanese for fire and fox in that order, so.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying it's more than fucking Safaria. Ooh, I wonder what that could be. At least they use like the foreign word hidden device as opposed to, hey, here's the changing of a few letters. We are so clever.
To be fair, that was kind of what we did with IE, but
it's still the most effort that they put into here.
Yeah.
As opposed to outside of Tsukikage.
Yeah.
Who just didn't know about because nobody knows about Luna Space over here. So so overall the point is, you are playing a story with 5 very thinly veiled versions of web browsers. And no, you don't get to choose which one you like best. Like there is no choice here. There's nothing. This is a
I's your main character pretty much.
Yeah, and it's like technically speaking, there is no main character. There is, as I mentioned, in the interview, the closest this gets to first person stuff, to you are the main character is, it frames like you as the love interest in the love interest scenario portion of the contest.
Which is pretty much for invoking the trope for the idol characters' purposes.
Parroting.
Because that's a thing that idols do, is that they have a thing where they like... The whole one of the main purposes of an idol is to be your imaginary waifu.
Right. And, and it's scored on, like, the loosest possible score. Like the score doesn't really matter. Like
it's whose line is it anyway all over again.
Well, it's like I don't think they actually like. I'm trying to remember if they declared a winner. Like
They
that's
did.
how much that that's how little it mattered. You know, it's like I'll be honest. You're not gonna be buying this for the story. Like,
I mean, I don't know. There's not. I mean, it's the story, the pictures, and like occasional cute anime girl boobs.
Like
yeah, I
if
mean,
you're
There's
into
not
Love Live or
there's
something like that,
all
this
yeah.
will do you fine. But
yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. You know, it's like this is almost like porn purchasing in the terms of how much effort was given to the story, to the characters, to the everything. Like,
But you're not really doing it for music. There's not much. You're not doing it for voice acting. There isn't any.
you know,
there's
I'm
no
like,
CG scenes in here.
yeah, I'm like, as far as well, the actual porn factor, higher than expected, honestly. Like, I'll be honest, well,
I mean, look at Chrome over here.
yeah, I'm like, well, like Chrome's design is annoys the shit out of me because I'm like, tits that big does not fit a frame that petite. Like,
How does your back function, woman?
Well, it's also that just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like it's like people. It's not just about having the biggest tits. It's about having a frame that works well with said tits. Otherwise, you get a clashing monstrosity. Not quite the case here, but it's still, yeah, I'm not buying this. As opposed to like Safaria, who actually has more of a figure that pulls off her rack. Like the things you get to talk about, like, is marvelous sometimes. But I mean, this is kind of the central conceit of the game. It's how much do you like the idol girls here? Now, and going back to the interview, it's especially interesting because this is this is apparently a visual novel designed for the West in Japan. Like, I'll be honest, I'm really interested into the thought processes behind that, but it's just something that we're never going to know because
language barrier,
among other things. Like, I'm not exactly sure what this conceptualization, why this was chosen to attract to us, because I'll be honest, I'm not seeing anything particularly special.
Probably because Neptunia sold well among those people who imported or actually bought PS Vitas.
I guess. I mean, I can see where the merits of selling are. Once again, it's got cute girls and idol culture, and those things have an amount of sellability attached to them.
Yeah,
it's just, yeah, this really isn't standing out in any regard. Like,
yeah, like if you find the character models appealing, then you might get some enjoyment out of this, even for a little bit, because it's like what, 3-4 hours.
Yeah, it's like maybe about 5 because, well, they kind of extended a bit at the end because it goes from hey, idol contest to Symphogear. Yeah, it's like all of a sudden they become, I don't know,
magical
they're fighting
girls,
net bugs and some shit. like
I mean, it makes sense, I guess, to have another plot thing aside from just competition.
Yeah. And I will admit, I was also surprised that this wasn't like any sort of romance visual novel. That's you, especially since games of this nature usually are for obvious reasons, I hope. And yeah, it's like the basic bottom line here is there's not a lot of meat to these bones either. I will say it does fairly accurately capture the ambiance of idol culture with chat rooms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Although, obviously, these chat rooms are going to be a lot. How do I put this?
Safer.
Well, not only, yeah,
Hmm.
more legible. First of all, because usually Japanese.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I won't say cleaner because I'm pretty sure that these things are heavily moderated in the real world too. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably not gonna, you're probably not gonna announce that you're going to do sexual things to an idol in these chat rooms and get away with it.
Some of it might also be self-policing because, like, if you say that, then like some of the other fanboys might get violent.
Also,
Yeah,
no one's going to talk about to a pro-Nazi rant or whatever the, unpopular thing is in Japan now.
I'm like, I'm like, if there's a pro-Nazi rant, it's probably going to be in English.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. It's like, it's just, yeah, okay. This game is $10, and when it comes to visual novels, pricing is directly related to content. If you've listened to our many interviews with Manga Gamer or even Sekai Project, you'll get a glimpse into how that works. The reason why this is $10, I believe Galix touched upon it, is, there's no extravagance here. There's no voice acting. There is no CG sequences. There is none of the additional frills that make a game $30 to $40 otherwise. Also, length is a consideration there. It is like, it took me about 5 hours, 5.5 hours to get through it, like, which isn't terribly long for a visual novel, but once again, it being $10 feels about right for that length. Like, I'd say $10 is about the perfect price for a title like this. It's this is kind of the to use a fast food analogy, it's the Big Mac of visual novels. It's quick, cheap, easy. It gets you filled, but you'd never call it a gourmet meal, now would you?
Nope. No.
Like, if you find like idol stuff appealing and the character models appealing, go look at it. But if you don't, then it's not worth your time, really.
Yeah, it's lighthearted. It's all for fun and visuals. If that works for you, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that this is a perfectly adequate visual novel.
Especially for its price bracket.
Right. So that'll about do it for Space Live. So do we want to take our break now or after Title 2?
Whenever. I don't care.
Okay.
It'll take me a second to get the other one set up anyway.
All right, well, we'll take a break and then we'll come back with our review of Mushroom Wars 2. And good gaming, such and such.